Now, looking at this rubble behind me, some might call it amazing that no one was hurt.
3 people have died in an early morning house fire.
WDRB's Paige Quiggins is live on the scene in New Albany with an update on the investigation. Paige?
Kelly and Chris, the investigation is still ongoing. The bodies of the 3 victims have been sent to the medical examiner's office to determine an official cause of death. The roads are very treacherous, and folks who are trying to get to work this morning are definitely finding that out. As you can see, this dry ice, it looks okay from a distance, but if you look up close, it's iced over and very, very dangerous. And it's a similar situation with all the roads.
WDRB's Paige Quiggins explains the suspect left an accidental clue that led to his arrest. Paige.
That's right, Lindsay. Police say Mark Hamburg Jr. left behind a photo of himself at one of the stores he's accused of robbing over the last 2 months. Hamburg faces more than a dozen counts of robbery. Police say more charges will likely be added to that list. Reporting live at LMPD headquarters, Paige Quiggins, WDRB News. Good morning, and as you can see, I am here at the start of the race, and it's already kicked off, and everybody is very enthusiastic about it. We've got 16,000 people out here today. Now, if you do the math as it stands for what they define as frequent commuters, or people who travel at least 20 days a month, that's $1 each way, which is $2 a day. And then you multiply that by 5 days a week, that's $10 a week. And then 4 weeks a month is $40. Multiply that by 12 months a year, you get $480. And that's just for the frequent commuters. Those who travel less than that will have to pay at least $2 each time around. Elizabeth and Gilbert, today the prosecution introduced their key witness to testify, Joshua Gowker, the father of Joshua Young. Now, the defense and prosecutors have referred to him as a monster and a liar in the past, but Gowker said there was one thing he wanted to make clear in the courtroom today.
I'm a liar, you know what I mean?
In testimony laced with profanities, Josh Gowker also laughed on the witness stand in his 17-year-old son's murder trial. He maintained that his son, Joshua Young, is innocent, despite stories he told earlier. Gowker originally claimed Young was guilty of beating Trey Zwicker to death.
Yeah, but I've lied this whole time, except for since arraignment. Since arraignment court, I've told you I've done it. I admitted everything I've done. I've been sentenced for it, life in prison. Yet here I am, going over the same story.
Gowker initially told police Young beat his stepson to death with a baseball bat in May of 2011, something witnesses say Young admitted to doing.
I beat the hell out of him.
It's not easy to be a mastermind when you're dealing with dumb people.
Gowker reiterated that he acted alone in the killing, but when pressed for details, he told the prosecutor,
"You're sadistic, man. You want to hear it?"
Tell us what you remember.
I mean, just being covered in Trey.
Right now, Cassie Gowker, a former lover and first cousin of Josh Gowker, is testifying, and she's saying that Joshua Young came to her with evidence saying that he was guilty. We'll have much more on this at 6:30. Reporting live downtown, Paige Quiggins, WDRB News.
Okay. Officer under investigation. Only on WDRB, Paige Quiggins explains even though one of his cases has been reassigned, a victim's mother believes it could have affected justice taking too long.
When you lose that child, a part of you is just gone forever.
A mother now prepares for her son's favorite holiday without him.
He loved Christmas. He was like a big kid. He was my baby.
She wonders why no one has been punished for taking her child's life. Chad McQuilling died in the hospital weeks after a hit and run on I-64. Cheryl McQuilling says she understands it was a dangerous situation when her son ran out of gas on the interstate. However, it wasn't the accident that upset her the most, but what happened in the moments after.
If he had stopped, if he had rendered aid, if he had helped, that's an accident, but you don't leave a human being laying on a highway or a road or anywhere to die.
Records show Officer Chris Thurman was initially assigned to the case in early September, and investigators located what they call an involved person.
Well, Officer Thurman had indicated that, there were certain charges that this individual had admitted to From that time, we were told that an indictment would be brought down.
Thurman is now under investigation for falsifying his timesheet.
After the 19th of September, we've no indication that anything has occurred in this case. We have to presume that's because of Officer Thurman's investigation or his being investigated.
Police say the case has been reassigned and handed over to the Commonwealth's attorney. They cannot comment on pending charges, but say justice takes time.
Individual prosecutors, they don't want to rush in and get an indictment. If they see something out there that may be a problem, I applaud them for holding things up. We have no statute of limitations to prosecute a felony case.
I wouldn't want to speculate as to what work had been done or hadn't been done, but none of the things that we were promised that were happening have happened.
But for a grieving mother, whatever the reason, the timing for justice is just not fast enough.
I love you, Mama. I'll never hear it because he took my child's life.
Some may do things just like this every day without realizing it.
Numerous of things behind the eating while driving can be distracting. Of course, having other people in the vehicle that are distracting you as the driver, loud music, changing the CD.
But police say that is just as dangerous as texting and driving.
Distracted driving is one of our major issues when it comes to our fatalities and our injury accidents.
And in today's on-the-go society,
people are tethered to their phones or addicted to their phones.
It causes more problems.
A lot of calls on people who are weaving on the roadway.
And just because you do not have your fingers on your phone does not mean your sights are in the right spot.
To high schools, corporate events, community events, and other events where we have a captive audience.
It's been around for 8 years, but transportation officials say the need has grown in that time.
Distracted driving is becoming a bigger problem every year. We think it's an epidemic.
The simulator allows the driver to cruise, turn, brake, and coast through lifelike situations. The results after the course show your reaction when your eyes are on and off the road.
And then you cut your braking time almost in half.
I ended up getting a crash course on what happens when I tried to use the phone while also attempting to drive.
I'm like, oh no, I hit a motorcyclist.
While you're looking down and texting, you can travel the length of a football field.
Looking away for even a second made it nearly impossible to steer clear of certain obstacles.
Whoa, I gotta switch the lens to make sure it's looking at me. Ooh, just missed that guy. This is just virtual reality, but if you're in an actual car, you could be putting your life and the lives of others at risk when you drive distracted.
And it only takes one time for you to realize what a grave mistake you've made by texting and driving.
Police say they are cracking down, and they say the punishment will mean more than game over. In Frankfurt, Paige Quiggins, WDRB News.